Welcome back to the Mix Academy. I'm David Glenn, pro mixer, audio mentor, and I'm here to help you take the good, the bad, and the ugly of home recordings and deliver hit records. Today, I've got a kind of a follow-up video. I recently covered my headphone mixing tools. I'm using real phones. I've used SonarWorks in the past, VSX, Acoustica Sienna, Good Hertz can opener, all those tools. I'll link that below, maybe put a card above, but had a handful of questions and people saying why headphone calibration at all. One person had criticized saying the designers of the headphones, the engineers, they designed them to sound that way. Why would you want to then change them? And multiple people say, well, why use it at all? So this video is my response to say, this is why. So I've got an example for you here. I'm going to play a mix, and I'm going to play it with a certain EQ curve. So I've manipulated the EQ of this final mix. I tell you what, actually, I'm going to play the mix for you without the curve. First, this is just the raw mix.
Where do you go when you leave me alone at a party at 2 a.m.? I just lost all my friends. Where do you go when you leave?
We're going to go kind of quick here. So now here's the curve. This is actually a pretty close curve to what my Sennheiser HD 650s give me if I don't use calibration. So now I'm going to play it again without it, and then I'm going to add this EQ curve, and I want you to tell me if you can hear the difference. And drop a comment. Let me know, do you hear a difference? So here's without the EQ curve of my 650s, and then I'm going to play it with the curve.
Where do you go when you leave me alone at a party at 2 a.m.? I just lost all my friends. Where do you go when you leave me alone?
Okay, so what'd you notice there? Drop a comment. Let me know, what did you hear? Actually, I'm going to play it one more time. So here's without the curve. I smacked the mic. I don't know if I'm going to edit that out or not, but here's without the curve.
Where do you go when you leave me alone at a party at 2 a.m.? I just lost all my friends. Where do you go when you leave me alone?
Now, to be fair, it's a slightly exaggerated curve, but what do we get from that? What I'm hearing is the lows are cut substantially. I've got a sub pack rocking behind me, and the kick and the bass go from full and punchy to just kind of dull. The low mids are accentuated. We've got a lot of low mids. It's very boxy sounding. We've got vocal kind of sucks back and sits back in the mix, so it's not leading the way that it was before. And then we've got mid-range cut, and it's weird, right? Okay, I'm going to show you this curve. This is not exact. It's not an exact science, but if you look at an app like SonarWorks and come in here and see, let's go ahead and put all this away except for the before. And so what SonarWorks sees as the before curve, the average curve of the Sennheiser HD 650s, is a reduced low end, substantially reduced, right? An enhanced low mid-range, so 200, 300, 400. This stuff in here has really got quite a little bit of a bump there. And then we have a dip around 800 hertz. We've got a boost around 1.2 or so. And then, so what does all this mean? Okay, well, if you're looking at this curve and you're mixing with Sennheiser HD 650s with no calibration, if you go to mix that kick drum and you don't hear 30, 40 hertz accurately, it's dipped, right? You may hear your mix and think, I've got to boost the bottom end in the kick. I need to hear that or feel that. And so you go to your kick drum and you boost 60 hertz, 40 hertz, 50 hertz, 70 hertz, whatever. And you boost until it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's where I want it. Now, you've got it at what you think is a good place because your headphones are lying to you. And then you go to the low mids and you're like, man, things sound a little bit boomy. They sound a little full, a little muddy. You need to go cut some low mids because your headphones are telling you, hey, the low mids, they sound good like this. Those engineers, right? So now you go to your bass, you go to your guitars, you go to your vocal, and you cut extra around 200, 250, 300. And then now you go listen. And you're like, okay, cool. Now I got a rocking kick drum. My vocals and my instruments aren't muddy anymore. Everything sounds cool. Or does it? Because now you bounce your mix or you reference and you hear a completely different sound from the reference. Let's say you go to your car, the old school car check, right? And you go to your car and you listen, and the kick drum from the reference is yours is booming, it's distorting the speakers because you had to boost. You couldn't hear low end. So now you're boosting to accommodate for that. You go listen in the car, and it just doesn't sound right. Your low end's all out of whack. Well, it's not because you're a terrible mixer. It doesn't mean you have crappy ears. It just means you're not hearing it accurately. It's the number one problem that I see in my students. People in the Mix Academy, they're mixing and they think they need to boost, or they think the opposite could be true. Remember the old Beats headphones when they first came out? I got a pair. I mixed on them early in my mixing career. I think that was right around when I started truly trying to mix. And I had Beats headphones. It was a joke. And so you have this enhanced sub and low mid frequencies, the super crisp highs. And so mixing with those is the opposite problem of this. Then I've got so much bass in my headphones, I don't think I need to boost the kick drum. I don't think I need to add fundamental to the kick or fill up the bass. It's already rocking in the headphones. And so that's not accurate, and which is why we aim for a flat response. There's no true flat headphone response. I don't care what the marketing says, the gimmicks, the screenshots. There's independent companies. I forget the name of the website, but I'll link it below as well. And you can look up your headphones and see the frequency response of your cans. And sure enough, it's going to be different than what that manufacturer showed you in a lot of the cases. So again, back to why calibration? Because we want to have as close to flat response of our monitors in your room. That's why you have room correction software, things like that. And they help tremendously. Now, some companies are going to have slightly different takes on what that correction curve needs to be. SonarWorks, if we come back in here and go to calibration, you can see it's boosting the sub-frequencies to accommodate for the lack of sub-frequencies. It's cutting some of the low mids to accommodate for the boominess in the low mids. It's got that correction curve. And then if we put both of those away, their simulated after is going to show you the goal is a pretty flat response, right? So now you hear the vocal and you're like, oh, dude, it needs more mids. We got to get that vocal sitting on front. 1K, 800 to 2K is a real sweet spot in most vocalists to pull them forward in the mix. Now you know, okay, I need to do this or do that because I have a more even response across the frequency spectrum. But now the question is, and I know a lot of you are like, well, and actually one person did comment this, do you have to use calibration software? No, of course not. You just need to learn your headphones and know what their advantages are, what their deficiencies are, and you need to accommodate for that. So if you're mixing with the 650s and maybe it's not in the budget for you to go pick up SonarWorks, or I use Real Phones. They have an awesome correction curve for the 650s. Maybe you don't want to go out and buy new headphones. You just need to learn your cans, and the way to do that is to listen to a ton of music through them, to look at that frequency chart for your headphones and understand what its deficiencies are and accommodate for that. So a tool that I use day in, day out and teach religiously is my referencing technique. I'll link below again. I don't want to go into the whole technique here, but I try to teach it and show it off as much as I can because it's such a valuable tool. Typically, what I do is we come over here, and at the back end of my mix, I'm going to add an EQ after my referencing plugin. So if you've got Mastering the Mixes reference, if you've got Magic AB or Adapter AB, whatever referencing tool you're using, you come over here and you flip back and forth right between your mix, their mix, that whole thing. Level match, and make sure you choose good references. Then come over here with an EQ. We're going to take all the top end out. Again, check out the low end trick video that I have. I'll explain it way more in depth and all the things you can do to make sure that your mix is comparable at least to an industry loudness mix before doing this. But take out all the top end, come in here and just go and listen steep slopes and listen to 30, 40 hertz. Go back and forth between yours and the reference. You may have to crank your headphones for this and just kind of open that up a little bit. When is the reference kick drum pulsing? When is the reference's bass sustaining? Take note of that and then click over. So you're at the reference. Now click over to your mix. When is your kick drum pulsing? When is your bass sustaining? Chances are if you match what you're hearing, even if it's not accurate, if you match what you're hearing, you're going to be in the ballpark of a professional mix. And so that's a great way to kind of accommodate for your headphones. Now, if you use calibration software, I'm a huge fan of it. I highly recommend it. Go buy SonarWorks. Go get you Real Phones. Acoustica Sienna has some awesome profiles as well. But make sure you still do this. All the more, this is going to help you because you're going to be hearing something a little more accurate, close to flat, and you're going to be able to make good decisions. Again, the number one thing time and time again from my students. It's not that they aren't good at music. It's not that they don't hear EQ. It's that they're not hearing the response accurately from their headphones or their monitors, and they're making decisions based on what they're getting, and they're getting false information. You're being lied to by your headphones and your monitors. Maybe that's the thumbnail or the title of this video. You're being lied to. So there you go. I hope that helps clear that up a little bit. If you have questions, drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Again, I don't think I even shared, but I've got a GoFundMe where you can get access to some multi-tracks, a full mix course, and drum samples and the works, this mix template, my exact mix session. You're going to be able to download that, check it out. All I'm asking is for donations to my medical GoFundMe. Have had some severe stroke-like symptoms recently in the past couple years. Finally seeking help for it. I don't have health insurance. It's a great help if you can donate $1. I'm going to give you the full course. I usually sell it for about $100, $150, $5, $50, whatever you can would greatly help. I appreciate it. And there we go. So drop a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.